allowing myself to be happy and to create my environment to support me through these transitions with things I love and make me feel safe, even though this is really, I can't move my phone because it'll fall over. It's the tiniest space you can imagine. And I posted it on Facebook, and most things that I do, we're starting the meditation, of course, it's all being recorded, is to say, I did something, it made me happy, and maybe it'll inspire you to be happy too. We want to help each other be happy right now. That is our role. And, you know, my grandfather, bless him, he was Danish and he was a very hard worker. And when I was little, he would always say, Jan, when are you the happiest? And I thought about it. And it was when I was baking a cake or making some cute little thing, a plate with the felt with the mom picture, and gave it to my mom. He said, when you are making someone else happy. And so then we went through the me stage of the 70s and 80s. It's all about me, my happiness. It's everyone being happy. It's not depriving yourself ever for what makes you happy, but in fact, delivering your joy to other people and inspiring them, that makes me the happiest. To help make their life blossom a little bit more. It's like giving them a bouquet of flowers when you give them a compliment. And I'll tell you why retreats are important in vacations, because I get up in the morning and I look around and I don't have my to-do list shouting at me. And that's why women specifically need to get out of their house and their environment, because we're kind of wired to, what do I need to do in this environment as the caretakers, as the ones who are always balancing and everything. So when I woke up this morning, I actually have this sign that I bought. I haven't found a place on a wall because it has to look perfect. And, you know, I've got to find pretty nails and everything. But I'm turning 67. And I waited a long time to say, I deserve and I can have everything that makes me happy. It doesn't hurt anybody else. If someone else says, oh, I wish I had that, maybe the idea is, well, how did she do that? And that is our role now as transition agents, to show it's not all about money. I told Rick, I said, I feel so at home, like I've been in this tiny place my entire life, and I just finished a decorating last night with old stuff and stuff my friends have given me. Deanna gave me the desk and the chair, my children, the little mom thing. It didn't cost me a cent to decorate this. It is the meaning and the sacred that makes a happy space. So it's pretty easy to see what the theme is today for the Be the Light meditation. And I see one of you already looking around your room. Am I happy here? Am I feeling really good? Well, let's also say, take a retreat and a vacation when you can, especially right now. But especially, as I always say, don't go out and stress yourself with people and their agendas in their world. Go and stay at a kindred spirit sister home, where if you really want to do nothing all the day and just stretch out on her trundle bed or her futon, then that is exactly what you need. And that is that beautiful, creating your happy place for you, just to be away from your routine. Because when you go back, you see it fresh. And if it does need touch-ups or cleaning, you do it much quicker and then give it a little artistic twist. So if you're listening to this, and I say, I say a lot of the same words, like creative, intentional, happy, service. All of these things are bound together because you are mentoring. You signed up to mentor our own demented childhood and all the patterns and pressures and constraints and boxes we were put in, to mentor yourself into a place of not being sustainable, but thriving, being in beauty, being the ones that you see a picture of and everything looks picture perfect, and you say, oh, that's only for the picture perfect or the super rich. No. We can create beauty in our head first. And this is Easter week, and she's famous for saying it. Mary Magdalene said, what we women have, it's kind of our ace card, is our creative imagination. Now you put a man in a room and he'll say, well, you've got this much square foot, and you've got this paint and this much light, needs this much light, and you need to put, nah. With women, softness, receive the tired soul to sit, and to have a sparkling, clear, clean glass with something in it, with bubbles in it. Do you see the difference? It's imaginal. It's beauty. It expands. Our visual environment expands our heart. It is like a soft feather bed. It gives us our bounce back. It's fluid, it's light, it's color, it's movement. But it's not just physical. As I said, in our creative imagination, and that's why we make collages. It's an artistic process. You go through all these magazines and you cut things out, and you're sprinkling your intention, which is megawatts of energy for something to potentially and possibly and probably happen. And you cut all these pictures out, and I'm remembering mine right now. My big, and so much has come true. Pulling things out of a hat. I saw a beautiful ray of light over a person that I was hoping would have more of a spiritual nature, and so much of it comes true. That is the creative imagination of the feminine, to pull things together out of the divine etheric realm and to bring it here on earth. Earth is missing high vibrations, heavenly vibrations. So we are beginning to refabricate the earth. That's a male word, engineering, to re-engineer the earth through our creative imagination. But on today's meditation, let's start on a personal level. And I usually talk about what's personal to me, your sacred space. Often when I talk to a woman and she's flip-flopping on her spiritual path, I say, describe to me your sacred space where you meditate every day. And sometimes there's a silence. And for years, I taught hospice volunteers how to create an altar in a sacred space for the death process. So to support your spiritual awakening process within a world that is extremely dissonant, you need an attuned space, a sacred space, that every time you're in that space and you bring in that vibrational focus, did you know that it adds to the luster of it and the electromagnetic state until it's operantly conditioning yourself? When you come and sit in that chair, you light the candle. This is the feminine ritual to prepare the body to commune with the divine. I have to say something funny. Whenever I start creating a sacred space, say when my children were little, everybody's attracted to that space. They want to sit in your sacred space. How come you get that sacred space? And you might even carve out, 2 by 3 feet in the corner of your bedroom. And your partner will say, well, wait a minute. Where's my sacred space? And you say, I'm encouraging you to find your sacred space. We were building a huge villa with my previous husband. And I said, well, I'll use the top of this tower for meditation. And, oh, no, I'll probably want to use what we hold is an attractant. It is so full of light. I recently started clearing little by little twigs out of the garden, putting moss in, putting chairs. And I noticed that space suddenly became singing with beings and with energy and the mother tree. And so, of course, other people say, well, wait a minute. Why don't we build a little deck there? Something practical, okay? So know that your sacred space you might have to protect. And you don't do it the masculine way with armor and blah, blah. You say, this is very important to my soul. It makes me feel so good. And I need this. People can't argue with that, okay? So I've said enough to paint the picture of where we're going with this meditation. Why is it important? Because you can't take the next spiritual step unless you are going into the still point, going to the nothingness zone, so your thoughts can go away and you can see the next golden step for you laid out. Or you're so still that you can hear the words of your guides or the creator. Or that's a clairaudient. Or if you're clairsentient, that you will feel and sense the presence of your guides in the sacred and the divine. So let's take a deep breath through the nose and out through the mouth. As you begin to contemplate your dedication to becoming who you promised the Creator you would be in this lifetime. Don't worry if you feel that you're behind. That's not how it works. The light formula, the vibrational quotient formula that you are bringing is already exuding out from your core out into the world to assure that the divine plan continues, that your sense of well-being, your sense of helping others who promised to be on the bus for the new paradigm, many are flailing. Many won't make it. Many who signed up to make it need to see you happy and shining and on the bus so they can follow you and get on. So that's what I mean about service and teamwork. By making yourself happy, you entice others to get on this bus, which is somewhat like Noah's Ark. Where we're going is safe and beautiful and aligned. And those that chose not to go will have their own experience of choosing, of the earth's recycling herself. So making yourself happy and creating a sacred space so that you can drop in and meditate and hear the next step to make yourself happy seems like a pretty important thing to do. So I'm going to ask each of you, On a scale of 1 to 10, do you have a designated, quiet, peaceful, private, beautiful, available to you when you need it, sacred space? And some of you may say, well, kind of, or no, definitely. No, definitely. I can go shut it off. No excuses to anybody. I'm going in my space. So what I'm asking you is to grade yourself on your commitment. Because at this point, we still need this anchor of these sacred spaces until you are out like Jesus, floating in a huge vibrational cloud where you can go into the lepers or face the devil and everything, you're neutral. We need to recoil and regroup and commune with high vibration energies in our sacred guides. So today's meditation will be devoted to you using your creative imagination and to sketching out in your brain to pull in the elements. The elements are smell, candles, light, warmth, reflectivity. Maybe you need specific things. Some people wear a mask to stay their sensory system completely blank. Nice warm blanket, a cup of tea, non-caffeinated tea, to drop into that space, a place to put your feet up. And to be honest with you, lying down is a bit of a cop-out because you'll fall asleep. To go to the still point is to be astoundingly alert, awake, and relaxed. That's why we practice the still point in these meditations, so that you can access that space, let go of the brain waves and the thinking. And so I'm talking today about a physical anchoring space that will entrain you as you go through specific, continuous steps in your sacred space to meet your commitment. We ask and intend to set a sacred space. Wherever you are, you can just create that whole on of balance, that beautiful geometric structure over your entire body. Allow your body to surrender in this non-defended state and to let go of your thinking. No thoughts. And I promise you, you will be safe not thinking. Drop into your heart. Your heart holds truth and information, but it's not like thoughts that dominate. There's a spaciousness between information and knowing and feeling and sensing. So take your attention to your heart and take a breath and just drop into that soft, velvety, divine space. Call in our divine guides, and they're smiling and they're saying, this is correct. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be painful. Create the stability and the beauty that will sustain you on the difficult days, on the challenging days. It will help you sit upright and empty your mind, and your spine can be informed with the perfected energies radiating from source. Even as I say that, we begin to absorb, to be imbued with brilliant, rich, divine frequencies, which are colors. So take a deep breath and open your crown chakra. Just as imagine that you are a color palette, a painter's color palette, but there's no colors. And so we are inviting the color red to come into our body, the palette, which is courage, safety, survival, and is coming into our base chakra. So imagine in the few days ahead, as you are creating your sacred space environment, what element of red, earth, iron, blood, femininity can you bring into your sacred space to reflect and mirror the luscious safety of the feminine red? We open ourselves to the flow of a delicious orange. Just smell that beautiful Jupiterian, Jupiter's orange of abundance, of home, hearth, fire, warmth, softness. Imagine the soft, rich fabrics that you will bring into your sacred space. They create a soft, weighted heaviness on your thighs, a soft blanket to run your fingertips across, so that your physical body is grounded. Perhaps some beautiful piece of art with orange to ignite and ground this essence to help balance your nervous system in your sacred space. The color yellow is flowing and radiating down into the will chakra, and you feel yourself being refilled, refurbished, revibrated, and refreshed. You feel that lightness, the just delightful sense of beingness in spring. So into your sacred space, the color yellow, lemon yellow, fresh, creates a spark of creativity, of moving your will forward for more joy and more beauty. So imagine that you are deliberately, intentionally bringing the color yellow so that all the colors of the palette are singing in your spine. And on the days when you're feeling a pint low, simply being in your sacred space, you are being infused with the frequencies to be filled once again. Now, green. Imagine the green in your heart, flowering, nourishing, allowing the growth, the miracle of blooming, some living aspect to represent this in your sacred space. You can give your sacred space a name. Give it an identity. Name it in a different sacred language. Give it a symbol. And draw the symbol out and hang it. Paint it right in your sacred space. The heart, your heart, is the heart of your sacred space. The image of a heart, opening and opening. That the minute you sit down and you sit up straight, you access your heart space. And it gets larger and larger as your thought and thinking shrinks. And your heart opens to more beauty and more truth. Next, a beautiful Mother Mary blue. A swath of it, ribbons of it are coming down into your throat. Just you are drinking up this beautiful blue that clears the way, all fear, all blockages, and performs a majestic shift. That it is relaxing and joyful to speak your truth. And when you are in your sacred space, this turquoise blue reflects back to you the human miracle of speaking from your heart. The divine messages that can come so freely to you in your sacred space. So take a deep breath, and sometimes you may want to breathe in sound in your sacred space, to be in your body, to be present, to sing sacred syllables or vowel sounds, and to stream on universal currents of beauty and light through these vibrations, moving through every cell in your body, being executed by your exquisite throat chakra, this beautiful turquoise blue. Your third eye is a beautiful, beautiful blue. Mix in all the hues of blue, purple, periwinkle, indigo blue, midnight. Just paint it in this gorgeous, rich pool of color that is so wise, that sees everything, that is an aperture that when you're in your sacred space, your physical eyes and eyelids are closed, but you see everything. You see wherever your creative imagination and projective system takes you in that moment, guided by spirit. So this third eye is safe to be open. It is trustworthy to be open, and it has this gorgeous, sparkling, deep, as I look out into the garden, I see it, the pansy color, that purple pansy with just different shades of deep purples and blues and stars, sparkling stars. So imagine in the next few days that you're bringing this color and this element into your sacred space. So I am actually, by making these suggestions and combining the thoughts with the feeling state of us reorchestrating the frequencies in your spine right now, and you putting yourself in the near future in your space with these colors. Do you see what we're doing? We're creating probabilities. We're creating a master plan that you already know how it feels and you know the benefits, so you are guided and prompted and inspired to do it. These aren't just empty words. Again, this is how the feminine will change everything on earth, by helping people buy into the feeling of happiness, the true feeling of grounded, where you are satiated, where you feel good. It is real. So let's go in our higher crown chakra, and let's let this just be a bejeweled crown. You're in your sacred space. Imagine your queen's crown reflecting, jewels reflecting the light of the entire universe. And these jewels can move with your breath and your calling for more information and opening telephone, fiber optic systems of communication in the galaxy and the universe with guides, beings, and the Creator. Your crown is multifaceted with jewels that allow you to connect with frequencies anywhere and everywhere across space and time in your sacred space. So imagine that you are placing a representative item of this in your sacred space. Picture of a crown printed out. I actually have 2 crowns. You can buy a crown. You can make a crown. You can paint a crown. No one else will give you a crown but you. This is your space to be the queen of your life, to rule over your life with the heart of a queen. People respect a king, but they love the queen because the queen energy, the divine feminine energy, oversees everything and cares for the well-being and the balance and the harmony of the community, of the home, of the school. Everything and everybody counts. It's the feminine way. But you deserve a crown by being that person. By being that person who references integrity with every action and every thought. And this magnetism goes out, and there is a beloved field of respect that occurs. And why are you doing this? Go back to the first intention here, to make yourself happy, to feel that you are fulfilling your mission, and to be a role model of inspiration for people, for women who are told you don't deserve it, you're not good enough, who do you think you are? And you're going to change that story by being the best you, anointing yourself and having a crowning ceremony in your sacred space when it is set. Only you know what's important to bring into your sacred space. Only you know the right color of yellow. Only you know what belongs and who belongs. A sacred space is not a space that is yours to use for meditation from 6 to 7 a.m. and becomes television space for someone else later. Sacred space has, I don't want to say a yellow caution tape around it, but pretty much if someone comes to my sacred space, they're going to feel that yellow caution tape. But a ribbon, even a ribbon. In the forest, when the gentleman cut too much off the tree near my sacred space, doing his own thing, I actually took a rope and I put it around the sacred space and I announced to everyone, no one is to touch or walk into that rope until energetically everyone understands everything that happens in this space is of a divine nature. No one ever questioned, no one ever, and I took the rope away. Why? Because it holds that energy. It is a wall of energy, of intentionality that I have infused every single time I go and meditate. Add another piece of moss, put a bell, put a rock in the middle. So you are imagining your sacred space doesn't have to be indoors, but weather-wise, it's good to be indoors. So we are finished with this meditation now, and it was slightly different, but I did want to dedicate it to helping you get really serious. Probably you do have an altar, a little desk somewhere, but where do you sit? Can you sit up straight? Can your spine get the light? Are you claiming it? Are you claiming this space cannot be violated? Maybe a little curtain, a little see-through curtain. What I'd like to do is unmute yourself and let's share if any ahas or ideas came up as we bring this session to a close of really infusing the importance, the how, the outcomes, and hopefully some movement towards creating your own sacred space and using it regularly.